I'm going to talk to you quickly about a few things today. So we started a business called Crowdfunder about 6 years ago, and our aim was to basically help people fund the stuff that they want to see in the world. What do you want to change in the world? How do you fund it? And how do you do it? So I'm going to give you one example to start with, and this is an organisation called Snacked. And the guys at Snacked, Ilana and Michael, were really angry about food waste. They hated food waste, so they'd go to the market at the end of the day and there's all this fruit on the floor, all these berries, all these bananas, and they literally pick it up and throw it all in the bin because it's not going to be ready for tomorrow. They throw it all in the bin and off it goes. And they're sitting there, and these guys met at school. They're now in their kind of early 20s, and they go, what on earth are we going to do about this? So they basically go, right, we're going to take all this stuff and we're going to turn it into these really tasty fruit bars called Snacked. So they take all the fruit, they mash it all up, and then they basically turn it into these fruit bars and they sell it. So they go and pick up all the fruit at the end of the day for free, and they turn it into these fruit bars and they sell it out. And their biggest problem was like, yeah, we want to do this, but how do we actually get to a point whereby we can actually manufacture this, do the packaging, do all this stuff? We need some money. We can't get any money. They go to the bank and the bank say, no, you've got no track record. We're not going to lend any money to you. They can't really get investment into the business. It's too early on. And they go, what are we going to do? So they basically come to Crowdfunder, our platform, and say, right, I want to raise some money. And what they do is they say, look, I want to raise £5,000. You put in 20 quid and I will give you back a whole box of these fruit things when we've made them in 6 months' time. Because I don't have them yet, because we haven't made them yet. And what they do is they collect all the money in, they collect all the money from lots of people, and then they basically ship the stuff out afterwards. So these guys came wanting to raise 5 grand. They raised 13 grand in their first one. And they've done another 2 crowdfunds with us since then to launch new products. They launched a banana bar now, they've launched something else. They're constantly launching new stuff. That's the type of stuff we do at Crowdfunder, and that's what we've been doing for the last 6 years. We funded about 28,000 different projects just like that all over the country. And I'm working with a couple at the moment, which is a 9-year-old who's making a walking stick for blind people with electric sensors at the bottom. And she's basically 3D printed it, so she needs to raise about £2,000 so she can get a better prototype made so she can start taking it to people. And I'm working with another guy who's a 13-year-old, and he's basically created a door entry system for elderly people with dementia. So basically there's a problem with people with dementia, which is they open the door to absolutely anyone and they can't remember who they are. So he's basically created this door entry system which does facial recognition from a Raspberry Pi device and then lets you in with a swipe card. And he's 12, 13 years old, and he's doing this, and he's raising about £2,000 now. So this is the type of stuff we do. And when we're talking to projects at a very early stage, so you might have an idea of something that you want to fund, and you might be at an early stage. And when we're talking to people like you, there's about 3 things that I always say that I kind of wanted to cover today. And the first one is find the thing that you're angry about in the world and channel it. You know, and find that thing. These guys were angry about food waste. You might be angry about plastic. You might be angry about knife crime, which is a big one for me at the moment. You know, how do I channel that energy and then build something from it and build something cool from it that helps people? You know, so if you can do that. The other one is to make sure you're doing something you love. Like I did a job for about 10 years before this, which was okay, but I didn't love it. And then when I started doing this stuff, I found that actually I loved it every single day. It didn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a job. I get to do stuff like this where I get to come here and talk to you. This isn't work, but I get paid for doing this. So it's bloody marvelous. So I think find something that you enjoy doing, and you may have to try different things before you can do it, but find something you enjoy doing and really love it. And I think the last one for me that I found as a business is we set out the business to basically do good stuff. We wanted to do good things and people to walk up to us and go, it's amazing what you do. I love what you do. And we get that all day, every day. People coming up to going, it's amazing what you do. It's incredible. How can I help you? When you're doing good stuff, people just want to help you. And it's been the biggest benefit to us as a business, I'd say, is the fact that they can see all the good stuff we're doing, see all the people we're helping, and they want to help us. So give you that an idea in an individual day, the sort of thing that happens to us. So we did a fundraise for ourselves about 4 or 5 years ago, and we were trying to raise £500,000. And I'd planned for 6 months up until this day to raise this £500,000. We'd set ourselves 28 days to raise it online, and we didn't know if we were going to do it. We had to plan. We planned incessantly. We had loads of ideas of how we were going to do this. We didn't know if we were going to do it. And we launched that morning at 9 o'clock. And to be honest, I was petrified. I was like, we're a crowdfunding platform. We can't fail to fund ourselves. This is really big stuff. And we had a thing that happened basically, by about 10 o'clock, we were at about 50,000, 100,000. I'm like, okay, this is all right, but it's starting to slow down a bit. What are we going to do next? You know, what's happening next? You see everyone getting a little bit nervous. And then I got a phone call, and I walked over to the desk, and I picked up the phone, and it was a lady called Caroline, and she said to me, Phil, we've never met before. She goes, but I've just seen that you're crowdfunding for yourselves, and I'm a big fan of what you do. Do you mind if I invest £150,000 in your business? And I was sitting there just like, what? Okay. It was a long pause on the phone, but I was like, okay. And basically, she'd seen the good stuff that we were doing. She was a big fan of ours from afar. And as soon as she heard our ask for, can you help us and can you invest in it, she phoned up and put the £150,000 in it. And she now sits on our board as well and helps guide us. And we funded, so that was about 11 o'clock in the morning. So we launched at 9, that was 11. We hit our target at 12:30 in the afternoon. Basically, we went over, we did £650,000 from 363 different people who'd invested money in us over that time period. And I think if I could pin that on one thing, it was all the goodwill that we'd built up before that by helping other people, so that when we went out with our ask and said, look, will you please help fund us? We had 40,000 people that we'd helped previous to that who'd gone out and shared that message with their friends and gone hell for leather for us to try and get the investment into us. That meant we could then go on. That allowed us to hire more people, help more people, and then it perpetuates round and perpetuates round. The single biggest thing I'd say, if you're looking to start a business at any point, or just generally in life, if you help other people and do good stuff, then it comes back to you in loads. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much.